Now, while you were flying toward us from Los Angeles, here's what we were doing in Kansas City. My co-pilot and I checked in at flight control, the operations boys. We talked over New York weather, ceiling 800 with a chance, but only a chance of lifting. We discussed fuel load and the 1,001 details that go into making ready for takeoff. On the average, we have 57 flights in the air every hour of the day. Operations watches them all. Next, meteorology, weather forecasting. Our company was the first to employ staff meteorologists, and we listen to what they say every time we fly. The chief gave us the weather forecast, which he gets from the government, our own forecasters, and our planes aloft. Weather was uncertain at low altitudes, so we decided on 19,000 feet for a smooth ride over the clouds. My co-pilot got busy with his bookkeeping. Our fuel order amounted to 4,000 gallons, enough to fly from Kansas City to New York and back again. We burn about a gallon a mile, 5 gallons a minute. I watched your flight come in from Los Angeles. It was right on time, too. People get very busy all at once when a big ship comes in. I've seen it 1,000 times, I suppose, but never get tired of watching it. Every man concerned has an important job to do, and it all contributes to the speed, comfort, and safety of your flight. Meanwhile, our flight engineer checked over the airplane. This is standard procedure. First, because he's trained to do the job. Second, because it's good practice to have it done by a man who's going to ride the airplane. These fellows are like doctors. They know where to look. And this checkup takes place every time one of our planes gets ready for departure. Our plane had just finished 1,300 flying hours. It would have been brought to this overhaul base and had all 4 engines replaced. Every 10,000 hours, we just about take the whole ship apart and rebuild her. I wish you and all the other people who fly regularly could see this operation, because it typifies the kind of attention a scheduled airline like ours gives its airplanes. First thing we do to a plane when she comes in is to remove her engines and tear them down piece by piece. Each of the thousands of parts is then given an 8-hour cleaning and a chemical wash. Next, each part is put through a magnetic analysis to find any hidden faults in the metal. Then hand inspected against rigid tolerances. Some of the parts are okay, good as new. Others may require reconditioning in our shops, and still others may be replaced. When the engine is reassembled, however, every part measures up. It's really like a new engine. After a thorough check by a trained inspector, the newly assembled engine is run for 6 hours on a test stand. Interiors are entirely renovated in our upholstery shop. They also replace any fabric-covered surfaces that need attention. Meanwhile, our sheet metal shop handles any work on the skin and fuel tanks of the ship. The base tests the airplane's radio equipment, every bit of it. It also rips out her entire electrical system and rebuilds it. Her instruments get a ride on an oscillating test machine, which goes through the most severe maneuvers an airplane could be subjected to. We repolish and inspect the propellers, too. Every 3,000 hours, we get a new set. The balance of these blades is so perfect that, believe it or not, the weight of a paper matchbox will make them revolve. Continuing maintenance means that a job like this, an operation which takes 4,500 man-hours, can be done in 6 days. Last thing we do is weigh the ship. Our planes must stay within 0.5% of their original weight. Well, it's nice to know that you've got that kind of a plane under you. Now to continue with your flight.
Kansas City Ground Control, TWA Flight 2. Request taxi clearance, IFR, New York.
TWA Flight 2, runway 17, wind south, variable 5 to 10, north on taxi strip.
You remember we taxied past the tower. These boys are the traffic cops of the airport. Working with air route traffic control, they clear my flight plan and keep checking my progress all along the line. We moved down to the warm-up block. I suppose you've wondered why there's always a delay before takeoff. Well, here's what's going on up front.
Flux gate compass.
Directed.
Vacuum.
Check 2 to 4 inches.
Directional gyros.
Set and uncage.
Trim tabs.
Set.
Takeoff flaps.
Takeoff flaps.
Pilote heaters.
Check heaters.
Control services.
Free and full travel.
Engine instruments.
Normal.
Generators.
On.
Carburetor air.
Cold.
Propellers.
Full increase.
Mixtures.
Bridge.
Fuel pumps.
On high.
Airplane.
Ready.
Kansas City Tower, TWA Flight 2, ready for takeoff.
TWA 2, clear for takeoff. Up gear.
Up gear.
Well, we reached our altitude, and we couldn't see the ground. We didn't have to. Here's how we knew where we were all the way.